Jeffrey wants to increase his testosterone. I must have naturally low levels, and that's why I'm not seeing any progress in the gym. That's a cope, Jeffrey, and you know it. Don't go for the second slice of pizza. Oh, come on, Jeffrey. With a diet like that, habits like this, and this kind of mindset, well, of course you're gonna have low testosterone, Jeffrey. Adonis doesn't need fitness YouTuber juice. His nuts produce all the testosterone he needs naturally. All of the fitness YouTubers stare at Adonis and wonder how he does it. This is because Adonis has optimized his lifestyle for testosterone production. He gets good sleep, he eats clean, he lifts weights, he does all those things, but there are a special 3 proven ways that no one else does that has dramatically increased Adonis's testosterone levels. I'm not gonna waste your time in this video and tell you the same advice that everyone else is gonna tell you. Sleep, lift heavy weight. You've heard that advice 50 times. I'm not gonna waste your time. There's 3 other ways to improve your testosterone that you're probably not doing, that you've probably never heard of before, because most people don't actually speak about these. But these ways are actually more effective at improving your testosterone than anything else you've ever heard. What I'm about to tell you will improve your testosterone more than sleeping will. The testosterone reduction of poor sleep is about 15% every night. If you've got a testosterone of 500 nanograms per deciliter, it'll go down to around 430 with a bad night of sleep. I'm gonna show you something that will have double to triple that impact. And no one is speaking about this. We'll start with some words from Adonis on the importance of having high testosterone. Reaching the pinnacle of masculinity is a locked door. High testosterone levels are the key, yet most men never find this key. These 3 are actually very interesting, and I'm so excited to bring these to you. The first proven way to drastically increase your testosterone is to drastically decrease your cortisol. Cortisol is kind of like our stress hormone. So you know, we feel stress, and you've heard the term stress before, but there's a real scientific hormone thing inside of us that goes up when we're stressed. When that goes up, testosterone goes down. So what we need to do is we need to decrease cortisol, stress, which then will naturally increase our testosterone. The single greatest way that you can decrease cortisol is through regulating your breathing. Every other thing that you've seen, like supplements, antidepressants, therapy, anything that's for, stress, it's all a secondary tactic that you can use. The primary tactic for improving your health, and especially for lowering stress, is to breathe correctly. Most people are shit at breathing. I will say this again. You are shit at breathing. You suck at breathing so much that it's decreasing your health, and this is one of the most important things that I could tell you. The correct way to breathe is solely through your nose, never through your mouth. The modern world isn't set up for us to breathe correctly, so there's a lot of public speaking. For example, for me, I'm a public speaker in some sense, and when you're speaking, full sentences, and you've got a speech to give to someone, you naturally breathe from your mouth. Every breath that you take from your mouth destroys your health more than you realize. You need to breathe from your nose, and you know what? There's a large proportion of people who can't even breathe from their nose because it's always blocked. If that's you, this is gonna seem really weird, but the way to unblock your nose isn't any of the bullshit, do this thing, it's not any of that. The way to unblock your nose is just to use your nose as much as you can without aggressively fighting how blocked it is. So don't be sat there What you're gonna do is just breathe silently from your nose as much as you can. However much you can breathe from your nose is kind of like how much you should breathe from your nose. Most people have breathed so much from their mouth, or they've over-breathed so much from their nose, and now their nose is blocked. Your nose almost works like a muscle, and the more you use it, the more that you'll actually be able to use it. When I first learned this, my nose was always stuffy, and I always had a runny nose, and I thought that was just me. I thought, I just constantly had a fucking cold. It turns out that I just detrained my nose to actually be able to breathe. I started prioritizing nasal breathing throughout the day, and now it's improved significantly. That's the first and major step to improving your breathing, which will then lower your cortisol, which will then increase your testosterone. And then the second thing that you can do is a breathing exercise. What we'd like to do is slow down and calm our breathing as much as possible. And we do this through something called deep breathing. I have a 10-minute video, which is a deep breathing follow along. So you literally just stick on the video and follow along to what I say. It'll be linked as a card and in the description. Go follow that every single morning and every single night, and you will actually feel a decrease in the stress that you've been carrying in your body, which then will increase your testosterone. You can get up to a 50% increase in your testosterone with this deep breathing exercise. Number 2, sunlight. Now, you've probably heard of so many guys in the testosterone space tell you to supplement vitamin D, and that's pretty good advice, but the reason why we have to supplement this little pill is because we're not getting enough sunlight anyway. I'm very fortunate now that I've moved to UAE, I've moved to Dubai, and it's literally sunny every single day. The best thing that you can do is be out in the sun for as many hours as possible. You can't really overdo it in the sun. Do you know all those shitty products about sun cream, and all the sun cream just gives you cancer? And I don't know if that's a conspiracy theory, but literally imagine primal natural humans. Were they putting on sun cream? No. They were literally out in the sun every single day for most of the day. If you imagine our hunter-gatherer ancestors, the true like primal high testosterone humans, they were out in the sun all day every day. They weren't wearing clothes. They had direct sunlight to their balls. And there was a recent study which was so interesting. Literally all they did was tell participants to go out into the sun 3 times a week for half an hour with just wearing shorts, right? So just wearing underwear. Just that 3 times a week for half an hour of the sunlight. Not even like, you know, in a very hot country or anything, but just literally just going outside and just, you know, staying outside in daylight drastically increased not just testosterone, but romance. This study found that these people who did this literally became more romantic and sex obsessed. Why do you think that happened? You might think, wait, sunlight increases testosterone. That's what we think, isn't it? That's what the title of this video, it increases testosterone. No. Sunlight doesn't increase testosterone. A lack of sunlight kills it. You clicked on this video because you think you've got the symptoms of low testosterone. You've got little man boobs, your dick's kind of small, your balls are kind of small, you're not very masculine, you've got a high-pitched little voice, you're a little bitch. You clicked on this video because you're a little bitch, and you don't want to hear this advice, do you? You don't want to be told to go outside, do you? And yet one of the worst things that's actually happening to you is a lack of sunlight. If you're a total Jeffrey, you've already started complaining, haven't you? You've already started coping. But I'm in this country and there isn't much sun. Shut the fuck up. No. We don't cope around here. Coping is for Jeffreys. We try to maximize as much as we can do to improve ourselves. So if you started coping and you're like, oh, well, you know, in my country, it's not... No. Getting sunlight, getting daylight doesn't mean that the sun is right there shining directly at you. It means that you are outside in the middle of the day. Because if you can see outside, you know, if there's light outside, that means that there's sunlight. Most people don't understand this. Most people think sunlight is a direct sun shining right at you. That's not really true. Sunlight is what happens in most countries from 6, 7 a.m. to around 5, 6, 7 p.m. If you can see outside without the use of like street lights, it's daylight. So even if you live in the UK and it's like a grey day, you know, with clouds and there's a few guys there stabbing each other, you can still go out onto your garden or balcony at daytime, even though there's not direct sun. And still, even though it's a bit cold, literally just sit there shirtless for half an hour, go on your phone, read a book or something. And that will still increase your testosterone. Because if you don't do that, you will have a decrease to your testosterone levels. You right now, and me, and every other guy, we don't even know how much testosterone we're supposed to have because we spend all days indoors. And finally, we need to discuss the single biggest reported testosterone increase out of every study so far. There is one practice that has been shown to 400% your testosterone. That means a 4 times increase. That means if you have a 500 nanograms of testosterone, this practice has been reported to increase it up to 2,000. That is a steroid level increase. I'm surprised that this hasn't like taken over the internet with this study because some guys have spoke about this, but not enough. And what is it? It's semen retention. But not just semen retention, not just no fat. There's a very special way to do this that most people never even think of. That if you did it, and it's fucking hard, but if you could do it, you will get this like steroid level boost to your testosterone level. So first of all, semen retention and no fat are 2 different things. I'm not sure if you actually know the difference. No fat is not watching porn anymore, not jacking off, like, you know, not masturbating. Semen retention is specifically not ejaculating. So for example, I was on no fat age 17 to 22, 23, 24, right? I was on no fat, but I was still having sex. So I was on no fat, I wasn't masturbating, I wasn't watching porn, but I was still having sex, and with sex I was ejaculating, right? Sex and ejaculation are usually mixed together, aren't they? So you have sex, you know, you build up a little bit, 10 minutes, whatever, you edge a little bit, go down, you know, change positions, okay, we all know that, and then you're busting out, right? That's normal, right? You've always seen this in porn. If you're old enough, you've had sex yourself, you know how this works, right? There was a study that showed that if you do semen retention, but not just normal semen retention, if you do semen retention whilst having sex, your testosterone can go up by 400%. What this means, essentially, you have sex, you don't nut. You have sex, you don't ejaculate. This has been shown to have a 400% increase in testosterone. Why? Really think about this. Why? The researchers couldn't prove this because, you know, they want to talk about sciencey shit. So they prove to us the science, right? They prove to us that, you know, with scientific terms, if a man and a woman have intercourse and the man stops preemptively before ejaculation, then his testosterone, you know, they've done the science shit, right? But they weren't able to explain why it skyrocketed his testosterone. And I'm so glad that I've got my sort of understanding of psychology, evolution, and the concept of like sort of caveman days. You know, I'm very aligned with like evolutionary shit, right? The reason why you will get the biggest improvement to your testosterone level, similar to taking steroids, when you do semen retention whilst having sex, you have sex, but you don't nut and you stop before you ejaculate, is because something in your primal brain realizes that you were so close to achieving the point of life and you stopped. Your primal caveman alpha male brain gets turned on and starts to think, fuck, Everything of our lives was to get us to this moment, to ejaculate, to reproduce. That's the whole point. That is the mission of a species. Why did we stop when we were literally right there? Maybe there's enemies. Maybe it's not safe. There's gotta be a reason why our brain's thinking this. So let's pump him full of testosterone. Let's make him 4 times as strong, 4 times as masculine. That is the single greatest reported increase of testosterone ever. And almost no one's talking about this. I explain more about this semen retention thing in my alpha male sex course. It's linked in the description next to the 3 bedroom mistakes that you're making. Go click on that link right now. Click and watch this full masculinity guide. Do the hard work, especially when you don't feel like it. Mwah.